Everyone talks about learning the next big framework, but that's not what gets you hired. These 5 skills are what actually make software engineers successful in the real world, whether you're trying to land your first job or level up your career. I'm Josh, software exec, former startup founder and consultant, and on this channel, we crack open the secrets of the software industry. A lot of people think success in software comes down to knowing the right tools or frameworks, like if you just learn React or Kubernetes or whatever's trending, then boom, you'll be ready to go. But that's not really how it works. See, engineers who get the best jobs and grow the fastest and stay relevant long term, they all have a very specific set of skills in common. The software industry isn't like it used to be. There's a lot of competition for jobs out there, and these skills are what set you apart and make sure you're able to handle whatever the industry throws at you. So whether you're a new grad switching careers or just trying to level up, if you focus on these 5 things, you'll set yourself apart from 90% of the developers out there. So let's break them down, starting at number 5 and working our way up to the number 1 most crucial skill. First up, one of the most fundamental skills of the software industry that somehow almost everyone manages to miss out on is writing clean code. Look, obviously, if you're in this field, you know how to write code. But a lot of engineers think writing a lot of code really fast is what makes you a good coder. Or maybe it's writing really clever code. But here's what I'll tell you. Way more important than either of those things is writing clean code. Well thought out, well laid out, and well documented code. See, lots of code, that's useless when it breaks or just isn't reusable, right? If it's not modular, I really don't think you should be writing it in the first place. On the flip side, really clever code doesn't help anyone when your team takes longer to parse it and understand what you're doing than to actually write more code. So understanding how code flows, how to write clean, clear modular code blocks, and how to write good, clean comment blocks for your code blocks is one of the biggest things that sets apart the real achievers in engineering. Next up, for number 4, is your knowledge of software architecture. See, writing code is the core to being a software developer, but I can't stress enough how important it is to understand the bigger picture behind the code you're writing. Right? Your code doesn't function in a vacuum. It's part of a bigger process, and it's important not only to understand the context of your code, but also what a good software architecture looks like, so you can build towards a more reliable and maintainable code base. Having a good understanding of how code fits together isn't just important for your own projects, right? It's a clear indicator of someone who sees the bigger picture, someone who should be leading teams, not just contributing as individual pieces of code. And it's one of the big things that's looked for when moving up to a senior staff, lead developer, things like that. So if you're not familiar with software architecture or best practices, maybe now's a good time to start brushing up on them. Speaking of brushing up on skills, my number 3 point is self-motivation. Look, I understand it doesn't clearly fit into like a clean line item on a resume, so it's easy to overlook, but it's one of the biggest things lacking in most developers today, right? So one of the nice things about entry-level software development is usually it's a really clean workflow, right? You're given a basic problem to solve. Here's your inputs. Your code needs to generate these outputs, and you write what's in the box and you hand it off and you wait for the next project, the next box. But it's really easy to get comfortable just waiting for the next box and the next box, the next box, and so on. That self-motivation is going to be what gets you out of the box. And it's not just motivation to learn new things or brush up on best practices that I'm talking about here, but looking at what's going on around you at your job, right? Show interest in other people's projects, in what other team members are working on. Get stuck into things that aren't necessarily yours and help out your teammates, right? Be willing to take on new and different tasks that wouldn't otherwise fall into your wheelhouse. That's how you learn more skills and make yourself more prolific and get noticed. Make it known you want to do more, whether it's at your current job or at the interview. It makes a big difference, and you'll start seeing it quickly in your career growth. So let's continue in that same vein for number 2. Right, so this is an industry that is changing faster than any other, and it's critical to keep up with the changes to stay relevant. So having a constant desire to learn is one of the most valuable things that you can bring to the table, and the number 2 point on this list. Always be updating yourself on what's happening in the industry. Maybe subscribe to this channel, that might help. See, being a coder leads to the risk of getting into a little bubble of just you and the tech you're working on right now, right? Imagine a little bubble around you and your computer. But being aware of what's going on outside that bubble and trying to keep yourself out of that bubble is really important to your next big opportunity and your career growth. It's not just as languages change or new ones are released, but changes in the industry. Sure, there's a lot of fads that fly by, like NFTs, but there are core important changes going on all the time to be aware of and to take advantage of, and to be the most valuable engineer you can be and really advance your career rapidly. Before we get to the final point on the list, if you're finding it helpful so far, maybe throw the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me grow the channel and get this kind of info to a bigger audience. So the number one skill on this list by a mile, and what sets you apart from anyone else in the industry, and unfortunately, it's not really something taught in school or in coding boot camps. For some people, this just comes naturally, and for others, it's a hard-earned skill. So what am I talking about? Talking about communication skills, specifically your ability as an engineer to communicate to non-technical people. If you have the ability to translate technical jargon into plain old English for your salespeople, your project people, your support people, that right there, that is a fast track to management, plain and simple. See, there are so many developers who are amazing at writing code and building projects, but they don't have the ability to communicate outside of their niche. And it effectively stymies their career to being limited to only writing code. So if you want to break out and go up that ladder and fast, learning how to talk to people, how to communicate, and how to communicate outside of just your peers, that's going to get you farther than all the other points on this list combined. Now, some people say that this is an innate skill, that you either have it or you don't. But I don't agree with that. If communication really isn't something that comes naturally to you, but it's something that you want to get better at and to learn, see points number 2 and 3, there's a lot of great videos and frameworks out there that you can use to improve. Some really amazing YouTubers putting out great content on exactly this topic. So there it is. And the rundown of the top 5 skills you need as an engineer. Number 5, writing clean code. Number 4, understanding architecture. Number 3, self-motivation. Number 2, desire to learn. And number 1, communication skills. So what do you think of that list? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments. And if you found that helpful, please like the video so we can keep spreading knowledge to a bigger audience. If you'd like to see more videos on the software and tech industry, follow the channel. There'll be more coming soon.